this!
Yeah! Silent! The only thing that will end here is your life!
Welcome to the realm of Legendary Agwang.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Legendary Agwang, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create quality portraits for Ultimate Xenoverse 2. Those of you who are volunteering, these are the items that you guys will need in order to make your quality portraits. So you're going to need your animation, the portrait canvas size, which you will use to know how big your portrait is supposed to be. The base canvas size for portraits are half the size of this one, but I found out, recently that if we use this size, we'll get twice the resolution, as the current portraits that we've put in customly, they don't look that high res once you select said character. So first things first, we're going to need Ultimate Xenoviewer. I don't know why I said Ultimate Xenoviewer, but Xenoviewer. And you can kind of put that wherever you want to put it. I'm going to put it here on the desktop. Wait for it to load, and then we're going to open Xenoviewer up. Now the next thing that we are going to want to use is our model. So for me, I am going to be creating a portrait for Goku in his base form. So I'm going to open up Goku's folder, and you guys have to know, this is something to notice, that we will not be using Xenoverse 2 characters. We'll be using the files from Xenoverse 1 because they are already textured, and all you have to do is drop them aboard. If you don't know, if you run into some problems where the characters are not available or the models aren't available, that will be another video where I can kind of discuss how to get past that or do things on your own. But for now, I'm going to show you how to create a portrait for Goku. So we're going to need the body ESK. You're going to need, select the EMD files for the model. You're going to select the face, the eyes, and the hair, along with the hair's ESK. This is all we need to create a portrait for Goku, so we don't need to add anything else. Now, another thing you want to do is select all of the body's models. Do not select the hair, otherwise your Xenoviewer will crash. You need to drop these files where it's supposed to go, which is the body skeleton, and then you're going to drop the hair in the hair skeleton. Next thing we're going to want to do is to make sure Goku has the proper shading. Now, as for like the lighting, he has to change the lighting in order for the shading to kind of swap horizontally. So we're going to hit X and then Y, and now you see that his shading is properly lighted. Next thing we're going to want to do is get rid of the grid, because when we Photoshop this model out of here, we don't want to have to do it manually. We can kind of do it in one swoop. So let's hit Reperi. How do you even pronounce that? Do you even know? Switch. Alright, well anyways guys, we get it out of here, all of the background stuff, and now we're going to drop our animation in for the pose. You're going to hit the first one, the lobby stand, and then we're going to maximize this. Now we're going to bring our model down, and we're going to kind of zoom in on it. Now you want to center him. Now you center him to just about this point, and that way you can get a good portion of his face and his body. So the first screenshot is going to be kind of to let you guys know how small his face is supposed to be, or how close his face is supposed to be over his neck, because we will be taking other screenshots of the body and the head separately. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to hit print screen, and then that will snap a screen of whatever's on our screen, obviously. And then you're going to paste that in Photoshop. I'm going to just take one of these because I don't like to open up new files and figure out what my resolution is. So this is what my resolution is, you know. What is it? 2560 by 1440. So that's my resolution. And next thing we're going to want to do is delete the body, and then we're going to just keep the face. With the face, you want to screenshot it right before it tilts down. So when it tilts up, it's a kind of a smooth line in a lot of parts of his face, and that will be easier to smoothen out when we start getting into detail. So quote it right there. Then we're going to paste it here. And then we're going to need our body back. So we're going to drop that body right back into Xenoviewer, and we're going to paste it in the body skeleton. Next thing we're going to need to do is delete the hair, the eyes, and the face. And once again, we're going to wait till he tilts up and then hit print screen. Now we have this, it should be perfectly aligned. And we're going to select this box. And then we're going to go to images and crop. So at this point, we don't need that third one that we have, the first one that we took with the head and the body connected, because we're going to do things a different way. So you can delete anything else aside from the head and the body screenshot. So we're going to hit our Magic Wand tool, and I guess you can put your tolerance. Let's see, which one would be a good one? Yeah, you can put your tolerance at like 4, and then you'll hit delete. 0. Yeah, true. All right. Yeah, so 0. We'll use 0. That way it doesn't do anything extra. Then we're going to use the magic wand again for the hair. You can kind of put that there so you can see it clearly. And there we go. You can delete the excess underneath the body. And now we have a perfectly cropped out model. Now what we're going to have to do, you're going to kind of want to box it out, like just like this, like to where it's like just underneath the symbol, because we're not going to use the bottom part of that. It doesn't have pans. So we can crop that. And then we're going to want to go to layer. You're going to go to layer style, style settings, stroke. And then you're going to want to turn the size to 1. That gives us a nice thin line around the model of the body. And you're going to do that exact same thing for the head and hair. Stroke, size 1, okay. And then you're going to simplify this. Simplify both of them. And at this point, you can select both of the layers and you can merge layers. Now it's coming, this is the part where we do the detail. You see that a lot of these pieces are not really high resolution. So we're going to have to manually give this face some resolution, and it's going to take some understanding of what that would naturally look like. You can't exactly follow the lines and hope it's going to look good. You're going to have to use your own common knowledge of Goku's structured face to kind of tell you and guide you to make it look good. So I'm going to show you how I do mine. You're going to use your polygonal lasso tool, and then you're going to kind of just line out his face. You select a point. I'm going to start over here, and then I'm going to kind of curve it a little bit. And I'm going to follow his cheekbones, and you're going to go down. You got to get rid of those blocky lines. Just have it looking smooth. Alright. And I'm going to continue to go over here. So we can do everything kind of one swoop. Make sure you know, kind of flatten all of those ragged lines. And this is something that could take you a little minute, but it's really worth it. The end result gives us a great quality portrait. And you can just spend as much time as you want on it, ironing everything out. The great thing about cell shading is that we're not using blended lines, so we can typically create whatever type of image we want just by using this method. So what we're going to do now with our first color, we're going to use our color picker tool. We're going to put it right here in this area, the area that we're going to want to paint, and we're going to use this. And that's what we're going to do with the rest of his face. You see we got smoother lines. Now we're going to, since we already clicked that color, we might as well finish it up with every area that has that color. So let's do it with this part. And you want to watch out for the black lines. Don't color over the black lines. You know, kind of guide your tool around it. So at this point, I'm going to fast forward it because this is basically what you're going to do with every other part of his face and his body. You can change the colors and do it with the next set of colors, because you're going to have to do that like with all of these layers of colors, and you just make way to sculpting his face essentially. So fast forward. Okay guys, so there was an important detail that I needed to tell you guys, because we have to remember Goku has a lot of different costumes, and you're not going to want to create and you know, basically edit his face for every single costume that you do. So we can keep the same face that Goku has and simply use that face for every other costume. That makes making portraits for him a lot more easier. So I kind of messed that part up. You don't have to join the body and the face together, but I'll show you a trick to get out of a situation if you've done something like that. So if you made a mistake and hit merge, all you have to do is copy the part that you did edit, and this is only if you are in the same session of editing. I'm going to copy that after I've selected it, and then I'm just going to hit Control Z, and I'm going to go all the way back until the point where it wasn't merged. And then now all I have to do is hit Control V, and I can just place the face right on where it's supposed to go. I think I got it right. Let me see. I want to make sure. Alright. That looks about right to me. Easy fix. So yes, do not merge your face and the body. Keep those separate, because we will use different bodies for Goku's face, and we will save this as a Photoshop item. So if Goku had like a different gi or something, we're going to want to save this. So you can, wherever you save your stuff, your photos or anything, you can make different folders for these. As you can see, I have different folders for doing things like this. I'll show you an example of what I mean with Gohan. A lot of you guys know I did a Gohan remaster where I gave him a bunch of costumes, and I wanted an easier way to complete everything. So I'm going to make this as Goku, save it as Photoshop, and then I'm going to open up the Gohan folder so I can show you guys exactly what I did. See, I have a Teen Gohan here, and this is so like it looks more professional, like all the faces will look the same when you play them in game. So, for instance, I have the base Gohan's face. I saved that just like how I have Goku's face in the Photoshop, and now I can decide, okay, do I want him to have the gi, the Goku's gi? Do I want him to have like the battle damage or battle armor or none of them? It's like all I had to do was do the same method that we did with the, you know, the face and the body, but I just take the face for the base form because he's still in base form, so there's no need to do all of that process over and over again for the face. You just have to do that for the body, which will be relatively easy. So that's just a quick announcement to make for that. That is something that is really important when you do things like this for characters that do have multiple costumes. So we can get out of that. And for the most part, this is pretty much it. Of course, I would like for you guys to go into more detail, but for the sake of the timing of this video, I would like to kind of get to the point. You will do the same thing that you did with the face to the body. And here's another thing, before I forget, you always have to add the lining of the lips. That is one of the most important parts of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, the tool, our selection tool, and we're going to outline the lips where we would think the black line would be. And then we're going to copy, hit Control C, then we're going to paste. His lips are still there. And now we're going to use where our new layer is and it has lips. We're going to hit layer, layer style, and then we're going to hit stroke, size 1. And now we're going to simplify that, and then we can crop out the lining that we don't want. This is how we get a perfect line without having to make it manually. And that's usually how you finish the face. You know, yeah, you can correct some little errors right here, but you guys understand the general idea of this. Another thing, you have to add like a line where the chest is. You see the little top part right there? I like to have the linings right there. So we outline that. And we're going to use the same method that we did for the lips. And this is generally how you do that for a lot of pieces, the easy way. We copy that after we select it, and then we paste. It stays in place. And then we hit layer style, stroke. And for the chest, I think we can give it a 2 because it does have a deeper line down in the center. And once again, we're going to hit simplify and then crop out the parts that we don't need. Hit delete, and there we go. So after that, all you guys have to do is make sure you do merge the extra pieces to their proper places, but always keep the head and the body away from each other. And then you can kind of just save it once again to as a Photoshop to kind of update it. But also what I do like to do is you can kind of select both and then you hit crop. Oh, it's not selecting both at the same time apparently. Well, you can use the main manual selection tool because you don't need all the extra space. Hit crop. And now we're going to make our portrait. Alright, so this is the part where the canvas size comes into place. So we're going to go to our desktop and we're going to drop our portrait canvas size in Photoshop. This is the size that we want our portrait for in game. And for reference on the size and how we're supposed to do it, you're going to need to get the original DDS. So wherever your fresh files are, I have my files here for the original game files. You can go to texture, Chara01, and I can find Goku's face for reference. Now all I have to do is just copy that, and then I'll paste that here. And then all I have to do is make sure I size it up correctly. And then at this point, we can select everything, copy, and then paste. At this point, since we've already saved this into Photoshop, you can merge both layers, and then you can put that on top. And at this point where you're going to start using your sizing ability, make sure you kind of gauge the size of the face. That's going to kind of give you an idea if you're doing it correctly. And another tip is you want to try to get the pupils as close to this one as you can. So you can see that our head is still bigger. Let's get our face down a little bit more. Zoom in so you can kind of get more precision. And when you feel like you got it just about right, you can kind of accept. And this is the part where you kind of like see if you've gotten it right. You can kind of hit hide. Alright, so we need to see that we have to put our face a little bit more down. Our pupils have to kind of align with his. Regardless of the rest of the body's position, the pupils are what count. Alright, so I believe we can make our face a little bit smaller. Because you can kind of see that our face was a little too big. Alright, so we're getting closer. We can go a little bit more smaller. Let's try to reposition it. Alright, seems like we're getting really, really close. Let's make it a little bit more smaller. And you gotta watch it, you don't want to make it too small. Alright, if we can just turn this a little bit. You might want to zoom in sometimes if you want to make sure. Alright, and at this point, you see that it's really close, and that's when you know it's good enough. So you're going to select the layer, not the Goku, but like the original Goku, and then you're going to hit crop. And at this point you can delete the other layer, and this is our new portrait. So we're going to want to save this as D3D DDS. If you don't have the extension, I will also put that in the link as well in the description. So I save all of my DDS portraits in a folder so I can get to them whenever I want. And then I will save them as their official names, well, their code names. For Goku, it's GOK _000. And that way I can always get back to it whenever I need the next one. So after we've saved that, we're going to need to do this technique, because a lot of times you'll notice that the portraits have some extra lines in the background and you don't understand exactly where that comes from. It's a little weird, but make sure you use your paint bucket. Add an extra layer in the background. It needs to be in the back. And then you're going to want to put your opacity to 10%, and then you just kind of paint. You just hit it one time, and that's going to get rid of all of those lines in the background that might be giving you problems. So this is what you will save in your Chara folder. I'm going to go to my Xenoverse directory, but you guys will save it as it is, and you'll just send it to me as that is. So for me, I'm going to go to texture, Chara 01, DDS, and I'll find Goku. Alright, this is the one, Goku 000. And then I just kind of save it. And I save it as DXT5. You gotta remember, DXT5 is for PNG items. I hit save. Now, we're going to kind of test this out in game and see if we've gotten it correct. Once I go to UI, I'm going to have to make sure I save the changes by dropping it on the EMB pack. And then we can kind of test things out. Alright, and here we have it. We have our HD portrait for Goku. And if you want to compare the resolution, all I have to do is just go to an older one like this Goku. You can see it's more pixelated. But when I go here, we can see the same detail that we see when it's from afar. So if you guys are basically comfortable with everything I've told you, and you want to undertake this volunteering event, go for it. Any questions that you might have, let me know, and I will be here, or someone else that's a part of the team will be here to assist you. With that being said, peace.